In a land called Uz, there lived a very good man named Job. Job was the richest and most respected man in the entire East. He had a huge family with 7 sons and 3 beautiful daughters. His fields were filled with thousands of sheep and camels and oxen and donkeys. He had so many servants he could not even count them all. But more important than all his money and animals, Job was known for his heart. He truly loved and respected God. He tried to do what was right every single day. He was so careful to be good that he would even offer sacrifices to God for his children, just in case they had accidentally sinned or said something disrespectful about God in their hearts. Everyone knew Job was the best man around. He lived a happy, peaceful, and very blessed life, and it seemed like nothing could ever go wrong for him and his wonderful family. Far away from Job's happy life, in the heavenly places where God is, a conversation was happening. God was talking to an angel named Satan, which means the accuser. God said to Satan, "Have you noticed my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is a truly good man who respects me and stays away from evil." Satan answered God with a sneer in his voice. "Of course Job respects you," Satan said. "You have built a tall fence of protection around him, his family, and everything he owns. You have made him rich and given him an easy life. But take away all his nice things, and I promise you, he will look you in the face and curse you." God believed in Job's love, so God gave Satan permission to test Job. God said, "Everything Job has is in your power. You may take it all away, but you must not hurt Job himself." And with that permission, Satan left to bring terrible trouble into Job's perfect life. One perfectly normal day, Job was at his home when a messenger came running, completely out of breath and covered in dust. "Job," the servant cried, "the Sabean raiders attacked. They stole all your oxen and donkeys. They killed all the farmhands who were watching them. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." Before Job could even understand this horrible news, a second servant came running up. "Fire from the sky!" he shouted in terror. "A huge bolt of lightning struck the field and burned up all your sheep and all the shepherds. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." As Job's heart began to pound with fear, a third servant arrived, his face pale with shock. "3 bands of Chaldean raiders swept down on us," he gasped. "They stole every single one of your camels. They killed all the servants with swords. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." Job stood there, stunned, trying to make sense of losing almost all his wealth in a few moments. But the worst news was still to come. A fourth messenger, trembling so hard he could barely speak, came and fell at Job's feet. "Your sons and your daughters," he whispered, his voice breaking. "They were all feasting together at your oldest son's house. A powerful wind came from across the desert. It hit the house on all 4 corners at once. The house collapsed. Everyone inside is dead. I am the only one who escaped to tell you." In one day, Job lost every single thing he owned and every single child he loved. The pain was too big to feel. Job stood up, tore his robe to show his grief, and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground on his face. He did not shake his fist at the sky. He did not scream curses. Instead, he worshipped. He said, "I was born with nothing, and I will die with nothing. The Lord gave me all these good things, and the Lord has taken them away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In his unbelievable sadness, Job did not sin or say that God was unfair. The story returns to the heavenly places. God spoke to Satan again. "Have you thought about my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is a truly good man who respects me and stays away from evil."
Satan answered God with a sneer in his voice. "Of course Job respects you," Satan said. "You have built a tall fence of protection around him, his family, and everything he owns. You have made him rich and given him an easy life. But take away all his nice things, and I promise you, he will look you in the face and curse you." God believed in Job's love, so God gave Satan permission to test Job. God said, "Everything Job has is in your power. You may take it all away, but you must not hurt Job himself." And with that permission, Satan left to bring terrible trouble into Job's perfect life. Satan left and struck Job with terrible, painful sores from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. The sores were so bad that Job took a piece of broken pottery to scrape his itchy, hurting skin. He went and sat down in a pile of ashes, which was what people did when they were in the deepest mourning. Job's wife saw him sitting there in misery. She couldn't understand why he was still trying to be good. She said to him, "Are you still trying to hold on to your goodness? Just curse God and die." But Job would not do it. He said to her, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Should we only accept good things from God and never accept trouble?" Even sitting in ashes, covered in sores, with his heart broken over his children, Job did not say anything sinful. When 3 of Job's friends heard about all the tragedy that had fallen on him, they decided to travel together to see him. Their names were Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. When they saw Job from a distance, they almost didn't recognize him because he was so changed by sorrow and sickness. They began to cry loudly. They tore their own robes and threw dust into the air over their own heads to show they shared his pain. Then they did the kindest thing anyone could do. They sat down on the ground with Job. For 7 whole days and 7 nights, no one said a single word. They just sat with their friend in his terrible sorrow, because they saw that his suffering was too great for words. After the 7 days of silence, Job could not hold his sadness inside anymore. He opened his mouth and cursed the very day he was born. "Why did I not die when I was born?" he cried out. "Why is light given to someone who is so miserable?" Job did not curse God, but he poured out his deep confusion and pain. He wished for darkness and death instead of his life of unending hurt. This broke the silence, and his 3 friends began to speak. They meant to comfort him, but instead they started to argue with him. They all believed one simple idea: God always punishes bad people and always rewards good people. So, since Job was suffering so terribly, he must have done something very wrong to deserve it. Each friend took a turn telling Job he needed to confess his secret sins so God would stop punishing him. Eliphaz spoke first, trying to sound gentle but firm. "Think about it, Job," Eliphaz said. "No truly innocent person has ever been destroyed like this. You must have done something wrong. Happy is the person God corrects, so you should welcome this punishment." Bildad was less gentle. "God does not twist what is right," he stated. "If your children died, it was because they sinned. If you are pure and good, God will help you again, but you must not be a hypocrite." Zophar was the harshest. "You claim to be pure, but God is punishing you for less than you deserve. If you put away your sin, you will be safe again." Job answered each friend. He insisted he was innocent of any great sin. He said his friends were miserable comforters. He cried out to God, asking why he was treating him like an enemy. "Even if God kills me, I will still hope in him," he declared. But he also begged for answers. "Why do you hide your face from me?" he asked God. "Please just tell me what I have done wrong." The arguments went back and forth for a long time, with no answers and no comfort. Finally, after everyone had spoken, a new voice came. It was God himself, and he spoke to Job out of a powerful whirlwind. God did not explain about the conversation with Satan. He did not tell Job why all those things happened. Instead, he asked Job lots and lots of big questions. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Can you tell the morning light where to shine? Do you know where the home of light is? Can you hunt prey for a lioness? Did you give the horse its strength, or the hawk its wisdom to fly? God described his amazing power in creating the world, the weather, and all the wild animals. He talked about the majestic mountain goats, the wild ox, and even the mighty crocodile. After hearing all this, Job felt very, very small. He put his hand over his mouth. He said to God, "I spoke about things I did not understand, things far too wonderful for me. My ears had heard about you, but now my eyes have seen you." God then told Job's friends that they were wrong for the things they said about him. He told them to make a sacrifice and to have Job pray for them. When Job prayed for his friends, God began to heal Job's own life. God gave Job back double everything he had before.